Nobody gonna admit it though. Like Drake, he been stealing shit like ever since he came out. Like when Drake came out, like 2008. You gotta remember like who Drake started touring with. Like when Drake came in, I think it was Find Your Love. I forgot what his biggest record was, what it was, Over, and whatever it was, right? Drake was on top. But you have to understand, Drake was on top at a time where he had artists like Justin Bieber. He was on tour with 50 Cent, Chris Brown. Who else was hot at that time? Sean Kingston, Soldier, Bow Wow, Trey Songz, Nicki Minaj, like the whole Young Money. Drake really grew from numb, but I'm talking about like a period of him, how he's blowing up now, and he's viral like every time he drops a record. He really can't say that that's all him. Ghostwriting excluded, like Drake, if we think about it, he owes all those artists he came out with 10% because he stole a stage performance, of how to perform on stage. I'll say he stole that from Chris Brown, and he stole it from Bow Wow. Like, be real, Chris Brown and Bow Wow, they have a good stage performance. Drake learned that from them being on tour, how to rob the industry, which Drake knows how to do. Drake is like the Thanos of the rap game. We see that clearly. Soldier, when Soldier did that interview, a lot of people be like, man, he tripping. Drake didn't steal that shit. Yes, he did. Like, Drake, if you see the flow, how Drake could become a character, Soldier's the same thing. Every year we see how it transitioned. Drake knew how to use the internet to his advantage, beefing with other rappers, sneak dissing in records, He learned that from that. Trey Songz, the sexualizing in the music. The Nicki Minaj, sales, like, yo, when I want to do sales, I got to do a beef. So Drake really stole from all the artists that he came up with, if we being real, and now he's producing shit, which he stole from Sean Kingston. I'm being straight up. Nobody's gonna admit that. If you look at Academics page, right? Academics would talk about Drake. Drake didn't make himself. All these artists who came up, and I feel them because Drake, every time he drops a project, right? I understand he collaborates with these artists, but then they always got something to say about Drake. He cool with Yachty. Yachty's kind of weird. I don't fuck with Yachty. They got a song out, like, that shit is ass. I'm just being real, but he adapt to Yachty. But it's like I said, everybody who came out the time Drake came out, they should definitely receive a check. If we being real, because Drake now is so commercialized, it's like, he gonna sell. I feel, right? I'm not sure who told Drake that he could rap on records. Like, I miss Drake when he was singing and doing all that. I better find your love, I better find your heart. I like that Drake, right? I feel he needs to do what any other artist need to do, like drop a final project, and just end it. Like, bro, I'm tired of, like, Drake. I hear Drake so much, it's like, man, I'm turned off from Drake because, like, after 2018, it's just, man, I was Draked out. Like, I'm just being real. But it's like I said, Drake is never going to credit artists that, really help him pivot in his career. Even Eminem, right? Eminem was a big part when that Over record came out, right? You had the biggest artist in the game collaborate you on Over, Sprite commercial deal. Like, I think that was Drake's biggest deal was with Sprite, but Drake ain't gonna admit it, right? Because it's Drake and his Champagne Poppy. They gotta bless the king, I guess.